Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. 19th of March already. That is unbelievable. Wow. We are marching through, so to speak, March and into the end of the first period here, first quarter of the year. And don't forget tax deadline coming up. Got to make sure that happens, or get your extensions if they are necessary as well. We are currently it's 67 degrees. And we also looked at the real field temperature. With the wind, it was down to about 64 this morning. 74 will be your high later today with a 20% chance of rain. Tonight, 10% chance of rain, 66. Friday, 76%, 76 degrees rather, 10% chance of rain. Make that's better. Saturday, 76. Sunday, 80 as well. Sunny both days. Monday, 81. No major incidents being reported up and down US 1 currently as spring break continues. And also, we're going to, unfortunately, have to report on a sad story updated to us from the sheriff's office, whereby a man, actually originally from India, and I would have some trouble with his name, Abhinav Lamba, I believe. He was diving on Molasses Keys off Key Largo at approximately 11 a.m. Yesterday. He appeared to be in distress, went subsurface. Commercial dive employees located the man in approximately 25 feet of water, brought him to a commercial dive vessel that began CPR. He was taken to Mariners Hospital in Tavernier, where he was pronounced dead. Foul play does not appear to be a factor in this incident. We just were reporting on another incident over the weekend, end of last week. So that second death in the past week or so, very unfortunate. Also a 45-year-old Key Largo man formerly employed with the Almirada Fire Rescue Department as a firefighter paramedic. He was arrested on yesterday, the 18th, after taking fentanyl from an ambulance and falsifying public records. He was charged with grand theft of a controlled substance and fraud. Almirada fire officials notified the sheriff's office on March 2nd that the suspect obtained a partially used vial of fentanyl from an ambulance after a medical call and forged another paramedic's signature and documents related to the disposal of the drug. Other crew members noticed discrepancies in the documentation related to the drug's use after the call. Warrants were issued for his arrest. He was booked into jail on Wednesday. So, a couple of developments there in terms of local news. Let's see that, also a former deputy was sentenced for recording his ex-girlfriend and boyfriend misusing a computer. Monroe County Sheriff's Office, State's Attorney's Office, announced that Alexander Morales was sentenced after entering a plea resolving charges stemming from an April 2024 incident in Key West involving unlawful entry, property damage, and misuse of law enforcement computer systems. On March 12th, Circuit Judge Mark Jones withheld adjudication, and he sentenced Morales to 36 months of probation on burglary and computer-related offenses, and 6 months of probation on the criminal mischief charge, with all probationary terms running concurrently. As part of the sentence, Morales must serve 10 weekends, Monroe County Detention Center, beginning April 10th, reporting to custody Friday evenings and being released on Sunday evenings. He entered a plea of no contest to burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and 2 counts of unlawful use of computers, systems, network, and electronic devices. The case was prosecuted by Assistant State Attorney Michael Tettleman. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Good Morning Keys will continue in a moment.
This is the Community Connection Spotlight, highlighting service organizations and initiatives in our community. Brought to you by Blue Marlin Jewelry in Islamorada and Key West. Join Habitat for Humanity for a night where generosity meets celebration and every dollar makes a real difference. It's the Habitat for Humanity Tropical Gala, Thursday evening, April 2nd. Your support doesn't just build homes, it fuels opportunity and helps local families thrive. Habitat's Tropical Gala is your invitation to an evening of great food, flowing drinks, inspiring stories, and a little friendly competition with games and auctions. Attend, sponsor, and celebrate at the iconic Little White House as Habitat for Humanity comes together to give back, have fun, and invest in the future of our community. This Community Connection Spotlight is brought to you by Blue Marlin Jewelry, saluting those organizations and individuals who serve our communities. Blue Marlin Jewelry, 81549 Old Highway, Islamorada, and now at 718 Caroline Street, Key West. Online at bluemarlinjewelry.com.
The choice of a doctor is a personal one. The choice of your gynecologist is even more personal. Dr. George Peterson has been honored to provide trusted gynecological care for generations of women in the Florida Keys for more than 30 years. While he has retired from obstetrics, Dr. Peterson is continuing with gynecological services for existing and new patients. Dr. Peterson guides them through medical care that can be complex and confusing at times, whether it's related to conception, sexual health and wellness, infertility, or menopause. And he continues to be a trusted caregiver for circumcisions. Dr. Peterson has been alongside his patients for 3 decades to ensure that they receive needed screenings for breast, cervical, and ovarian cancer. And the practice has expanded to provide a wide range of medical aesthetic treatments. Keys Med Spa, 5450 McDonald Avenue, Stock Island. Phone number 305-293-9555. And online at keysmedspa.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. George Peterson, and I'll be honored to help you with your medical needs as I have done for the last 30 years.
While money doesn't grow on trees, trees can save you money by shading your home from the Florida Keys hot sun. Keys Energy Services will host its 22nd tree giveaway on Saturday, April 18th. Keys customers can receive 2 free native shade trees starting at 8:30 in the morning at Keys Service Building on James Street in Key West or Keys Blimp Road site in Cudjoe Key. Remember, shade from trees can make your home more energy efficient and save you money on your monthly energy bill. Visit keysenergy.com for more information on this and other green programs. At Keys Energy, we're growing greener every day. Here's your chance to join us.
The voice of Monroe County, yours. This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
Good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. Indeed, we are experiencing a cold front today. I was informed of that by a number of people I had dinner with last night, including Abe Khan. Enjoyed dinner with a number of different military personnel last night. I was honored to be in their presence. But yes, he confirmed we are experiencing a cold front. And he's right. It's about, 60 is your real feel as you step outside this morning. We're going to say good morning to Grace Epperly. She's Development Coordinator, Wesley House Family Services. Good morning to you, Grace.
Good morning, Michael.
Yeah, so spring break, I'm sure your household's pretty busy this week.
Actually, kind of quiet. My
Oh.
husband took the kids to see his family in Louisiana, so just
Okay. Well,
enjoying some quiet time.
there is some solitude then. You might be joining me in the frozen food aisle. I occasionally have to find myself there, unless you're probably more ambitious than I and cook up for yourself. I don't do that. But anyway, I hope you're enjoying the solitude. Anyway, but solitude is not what we have with Wesley House Family Services, if I may say so. We just came off a busy holiday season. We do have well, of course, we had Valentine's is always very busy too. Share the Love auction, Galentine's auction. I'm sure there are people to thank for that. And then we're on to Black Tie Gala that's sold out. And boy, it's been a busy first part of the year.
Yes, yeah, we've been staying busy. February is very busy for us, and we're very grateful for all the support that we had. The businesses and individuals who donated items to our Keys Wide auction. It was really successful. And then we had our Galentine's lunch here in Key West, and then we also had our Valentine's Gala in Key Largo. So that was busy month, but it was nice to celebrate and get the community together. And then next Saturday, the 28th, we have our Black Tie benefit here in Key West. That is sold out, and we are extremely grateful to all of the sponsors who have supported that event. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited about it, getting ready. And yeah, and then after that, we get a break.
Yeah, just for a little while. Well, Some people still may be unfamiliar, new to the area, etc., and they're wondering, okay, what is this all being done for? Who benefits? Why is this happening? Wesley House Family Services. We're going to talk about foster parenting and the Healthy Parenting Program in just a second, which are just two of the aspects of the mission of Wesley House. So go ahead and give it an overview, if you would, again, as Wesley House, and what it is and what you do.
Sure, absolutely. So Wesley House is the child welfare nonprofit in Monroe County. We provide foster care for any children that need to be removed from their home to keep them safe. We license foster parents in Monroe County. We do adoption services for children in foster care who cannot be reunified with their families. The goal is always reunification, so we are strengthening the family at the same time. We're working with the families to help them address whatever issues brought them to the attention of the Department of Children and Families. DCF, they're the ones that make the decision if the case is severe enough that the children need to be removed. Sometimes the case is not that severe, and then that goes to our Strengthening Families Preventions side. And what we do is that's a short-term intervention program where we work with the families who are in crisis to address their issues, get them connected with other community resources to prevent the children from being removed from the home, because the goal is always to keep the families together. And then we have our Healthy Families Program, which is a free voluntary program open to anyone who's pregnant or their children are 3 months or less in age. We work with that family until the child's age 5. And then in Key West, we have our preschool, which is our Inez Martin Child Development Center, serving ages 2 to 5. We serve all of Monroe County, and then in July of last year, we transitioned up to Homestead for the full case management side. So we now have cases in South Miami-Dade as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Continuing to expand coverage and services, but it is necessary. There is absolutely a need in our community for Wesley House Family Services and the services that it provides to families and children in our community. Again, speaking with Grace Epperly, Development Coordinator, Wesley House Family Services. Foster parenting, we can never have enough foster parents. We do have children in need of foster parents in their lives. So how can how can people get involved and find out more and see if it's a good fit for them?
Sure. So foster parenting is always our greatest need. We never know when a child is going to come into care, and we never know where they're going to be located in the Keys. So the goal is we want to try to keep that child or children in their same environment, in their same school, so they could be doing their same activities with their same friend groups, because it's already traumatic enough when a child has to be removed from their home. So let's try to make it less traumatic and keep them as close to their comfort zone as possible. So that's why we're always recruiting foster parents, because again, we never know when that's going to happen and where they're going to be located. So the more foster parents that we have to draw from, it's just very helpful. We are looking for foster parents who are, will be comfortable with infants all the way up to teenagers, and those that can also accommodate sibling groups. Amy Eichen is our foster parent licensing coordinator. She is a wealth of information. So anybody who is interested, I just encourage you to give her a call. Her direct line is 305-809-5020, and she can answer any of your questions. The requirements: you have to take a 8-week foster parent training licensing course, and then there's an extensive background check with fingerprints and a home study and so forth, and then the same for any adults that are living in the home. The entire process takes roughly about 5 months to become a licensed foster parent, and then during that 8-week course, you're going to go through a lot of different information, and you'll be able to decide if this is something you want to pursue or not. Taking the 8-week course is not a guarantee. You could get to week 6 or something and say, oh, it's not for me. But we encourage you to just, if you're even thinking about it, just give Amy a call, and she can help you answer any questions, walk you through it, and then from there you can start to take the next steps. But it's very rewarding. everybody I know who's been a foster parent is, it's extremely rewarding to be able to make such a positive difference in a child's life. It's
It
great.
does indeed do that. Is it typical that foster parents get placement of one child at a time? Is it ever the case where more than one child is assigned to a foster parent home?
It's, varies case by case, and
Okay.
it also depends on the size of the home and how many children they're licensed for,
Yeah.
and what they can accommodate. So, for example, we say, I think right now we have like 7 foster parents in Monroe County, but then we talk about bed capacity. So out of that 7, we have a bed capacity of 21.
Hmm.
So you have to, it just depends. It depends how many they're licensed for and how many they can handle. Obviously, we definitely want to try to keep siblings together whenever we can. So that is a goal. We do also look for family members, and that's kind of the first route is we'll try to connect the children with a relative.
Hmm.
There's also something called fictive kin, and that is basically like a family friend, somebody that the child already has a relationship with, but they're not related to.
Mhm.
And then there's 2 types of foster parenting. So there's a level 1 and there's level 2. Level 1 is basically a family member or a fictive kin. Then level 2 is your traditional foster parent, where the child does not know them or have a relationship with them. So we license for both, but level 2 is the one that's really the greatest need,
Hmm.
for sure.
Grace Epperly, Development Coordinator, Wesley House Family Services on Good Morning Keys. And I just had to ask that question to give prospective foster families maybe an expectation of what might be expected of them should they move forward, but we always encourage it. What happens if there's not enough foster parents in our community to accommodate the demand?
Then the children have to be placed outside of Monroe County, which is, we hope that, we try not to have that happen. But again, if there's a family member that's living out of Monroe County, then we'll place them outside of Monroe County.
Mm.
Now, because the case originated here in Monroe County, it falls under Wesley House, and then our staff is overseeing them, even if they are located out of Monroe County.
Mhm.
But
And I did
yeah.
see on the website too some statistics from a couple of years ago: 62 cases of child welfare cases with Wesley House, 123 children. Is that specifically referring to foster parenting and the need, or is that cases overall, not necessarily with fostering?
I'll have to definitely make sure that gets updated.
Okay.
So with the addition of Miami-Dade, we are probably closer to the 200 mark with children in
Wow.
foster care.
Wow. Mhm.
And but I don't have the breakdown of how many are in Monroe County versus Miami-Dade.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely jumped up, and the age range is the full gamut. We have children sometimes that come straight from the hospital when they're born, and then up to age 17, and then they'll age out at 18. I know that we do have a few youth aging out this year, and what we like to do when they're aging out is, open it up to the community. We usually do a trunk party, and so I'll be talking to you more about that. And what that is we kind of help the youth get the items that they need if they're going to go to college or if they're going to be starting their own apartment or whatever. So like those kind of home essentials to help them, on their path to independence. So that's always a nice thing to participate in too. So as I get more information about that, I will definitely share it with you. So it's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Well,
Oh, there is one other thing I wanted to mention too.
yes, please.
The Moose Lodge in Key West is providing Easter baskets for children at Wesley House,
Excellent.
and they're asking for help. So I know on their Facebook page they have a Amazon wish list. So if anybody would like to purchase some items that they're going to put in the Easter baskets, that would be a big help as well.
This is the Moose Lodge of where?
Key West.
Key West. Okay, very good. Well, we'll encourage people to go there as well. Christmas, a lot of people step up and help provide gifts for foster children in our community. But Easter, people don't think of that immediately. But again, that's a holiday whereby we love to show the love to our foster kids here and let them know that they are thought of and needed and loved as well. So that's another way to do it. Moose Lodge of Key West. And every donation helps a child or a family through Wesley House, non-for-profit agency, 501c3. So do go to the website to find out more how you can participate and help continue the mission of Wesley House at wesleyhouse.org online. So very good.
Thank you, Michael.
I think we've covered it for now, Grace. Anything, though, that we should add?
I think that's everything. Again, Healthy Families, that's a free voluntary program. So if you do know anyone who is pregnant or their child is less than 3 months in age, please encourage them to check it out. It's a wonderful resource and always, just helps the families just learn to be better parents, because parenting doesn't come with a handbook, but we say Healthy Families does.
Yes, it does. Yeah, another great resource with Wesley House Family Services. Well, Grace, you enjoy a little bit of solitude. You get to watch whatever you want to on TV and go to bed when you'd like to and all those kind of things.
That's right.
This is a me week, and then back to being a parent once again next week. So Thank you very much for all that you do and all that Wesley House Family Services does in our community. We will see you again soon.
All right. Appreciate the airtime as always. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye
Bye-bye.
now. Grace Epperly, Development Coordinator, Wesley House Family Services, on Good Morning Keys. And it's a good time for a bakery break, don't you think? Old Town Bakery, Key West, corner of Eaton and Grinnell in Old Town, Key West, of course. Online, oldtownbakerykeywest.com. Very well known, very popular for breakfast sandwiches and pastries and brownies and cookies. Well, let's have them for breakfast too. I do. And hot coffee as well on a day like today. That is perfect. Always brewing for you. There's cold varieties of that as well. Fresh baked breads, make that into a delectable breakfast sandwich. But how about lunch? Lunch sandwiches as well on that fresh baked bread. They start baking every morning at 1 a.m. just for you. They're up bright and early in the middle of the night, making sure that everything is fresh and delectable for you that morning. Lunchtime, though, soups. Today is a perfect day for one of their soup varieties, and those are homemade and delectable as well. Pair that with a sandwich. It is a perfect day for a soup and sandwich at Old Town Bakery, Key West, or quiche for breakfast and lunch. Get a slice, a couple of different varieties there. That is fresh baked. Also, you can get a whole pie of quiche for you. Just give them, please, a day's notice and go to oldtownbakerykeywest.com or order in the store, actually, specifically for the quiche. Pick up some gift cards. Maybe give those for Easter giving as well. It's all at Old Town Bakery, corner of Eaton and Grinnell. Take your dog. They'll get bacon when they visit as well, and they'll want to come back again and again, as will you, at the corner of Eaton and Grinnell in Old Town Key West, and online, oldtownbakerykeywest.com. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Back in a moment.
Key West authentic Irish pub, dining, and rooftop lounge is Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street. The Celtic Conch always features delicious Irish cuisine and tasty pub grub with more than 40 Irish whiskeys, specialty cocktails, and local drafts. Ask about their daily food specials, plus the best in live entertainment. Monday, Milo plays from 5 to 8. Then it's Dean Dunleavy from 8 to 11. Tuesday, celebrate St. Patrick's Day at the all-day St. Patrick's Day Bash with the best Irish musicians, food, and drink specials, and a live broadcast with Party 105.7. Wednesday features Just George from 8 to 11. Thursday, Milo is back from 4 to 7. Friday, Dean Dunleavy returns from 5 to 8, and then Milo entertains from 8 to 11. Saturday, it's Dave Minneberg from 5 to 8, and Just George from 8 to 11. Then Sunday, Tony Roberts plays live from 3 to 6. Happy St. Patrick's Week from the Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street, Key West. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Sláinte.
At Keys Federal Credit Union, you're more than an account number, you're a member owner. That means better rates, fewer fees, and local people who actually know your name. From everyday banking to loans that fit your life, Keys FCU is here to help you thrive, right here in the Keys. Join a financial institution that puts members first. Visit keysfcu.org or stop in at any of our branches and get started on your financial journey with us today. NCUA insured, restrictions may apply. Keys Federal Credit Union, your keys to better banking for 85 years.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Chevrolet Corvette pace cars behind the wall. Here they come.
Heads to Darlington Raceway.
Larson with a powerhouse move coming onto the backstretch. He's challenging for the lead.
For its first dance with the Lady in Black in 2026.
Ryan Blaney comes out of turn number 4, crosses the start-finish line.
It's the Goodyear 400.
Sunday afternoon at 2 on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys.
Good morning, Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. And at 8:37 now, it is brisk, as we've been talking about. Let's see. We are currently now at 68 degrees. That breeze makes it feel cooler than that. 74 will be your high. 76 tomorrow's high, though. 20% chance of rain today, 10% chance tonight and tomorrow. Saturday, though, sunny skies, 76. Sunday, sunny, and 80 for that. So we're going to say good morning to Commissioner Craig Cates. He's also, of course, Mayor Emeritus, former mayor of the city of Key West as well. Good morning, Commissioner. How are you, sir?
Very good, Michael, and good morning to you and your listeners.
Yes, thanks so much for being here. So actually, not a lot of people on the water the past day or so with the weather and the wind. Yeah. A little break from that, but that's okay. It shall return, and we all know that actually the rain has been welcomed as well. So that's been refreshing. But yeah, we appreciate you being here this morning. We've been watching a lot of developments from Tallahassee, or maybe even lack of developments when it comes to the budget. It looks like they're going to extend into an additional session to try to come to terms with some budget impasses. And that, let's start off with that. That creates a lot of uncertainty as far as how we can plan our county budget and our fiscal spending, et cetera, not knowing where it's going to land in Tallahassee.
No, absolutely. And I believe they're $1.4 million apart, the Senate and the House, with their budgets. And the ones that are still up for uncertainty is the stewardship fund appropriations, how much it'll be, and also the pump out funding, which is so important to the Keys for pumping the sewer out of the boats. What I believe it's not funded in the House yet, it's funded in the Senate. And then Florida Forever funding is some of that funding is up in the air, so the distribution will be uncertain how much we will get from that funding. And also the Resilient Florida grant funding, which is used a lot of times in the Keys for different, environmental issues. That funding is uncertain also. But one of the things that is when they come back, and you talked about it briefly there about the property tax, well, what happens is if it goes to what is already voted on in the House about eliminating the homestead exemption tax, that'll affect the Keys about $34 to $36 million will come out of our budget as soon as that happens. And when we're not allowed to cut any of the first responders, public safety, any of that, we can't take any of that away. So that'll all come out of the general fund, which will have a huge impact on the Florida Keys and all the services that we provide. So that kind of uncertainty has got us nervous and will be very difficult for our budgeting next year. It'll be very difficult on the citizens, of course.
It will be indeed. So that 30 million, that shortfall, that still would have to go to the Senate and the governor as well, or
there's only one. Just the House. That's going to be their special session when they come back.
Yes, sir.
To see if they can work that out. It could be a lot worse than that, but that's the one that the House has passed.
Okay.
But the Senate has not done anything along those lines yet. So they need it in both of them. If they don't come up with agreement, then the governor has nothing to sign. So, but I'm sure he'll keep calling special sessions until they come up with some kind of agreement.
Yes, it's Commissioner Craig Cates with us. Also, Mayor Emeritus, the city of Key West, former mayor as well in Key West. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. So, Commissioner, then if this does pass all the way to the governor's office and he signs some of these reductions, et cetera, is it still the case then that it would have to be a voter referendum to get a property tax, reform, I guess we'll call it that, passed and into law?
Yes, it'll have to go. After they pass that and agree to put it on the ballot, it'll be on the ballot for November, and it'll have to have 60% majority vote on it. It's not just 51%. So it's 60%, which will be difficult to pass anyway. But our concerns, if it does pass, it's going to make a big impact. And we could understand that the taxes, and I think that Doge and all the municipalities and the counties are trying to lower and be very frugal with the tax money. Last year, we cut $45 million out of the county's budget, which was difficult, but we had to eliminate 18 jobs and some other services. But that being said, there's more to work on, I'm sure, in the coming year. But to take this hit all of a sudden would be very, very difficult and very painful for the county and the citizens which we represent.
Yes. Well, Commissioner, you've always exhibited very astute fiscal responsibility, and you've always taken spending very seriously as being a steward of taxpayer dollars. But coming up with another $30 to $35 million in cuts is a task that I'm not sure anybody could really face and accomplish without having to raise taxes or find the revenue elsewhere, and that kind of defeats the purpose of property tax reduction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they were talking about another bill they had there, but luckily it did not pass, was to eliminate licensing, which is for the counties and cities charge, and that would have took $500,000 out of the budget immediately. Also, at the same time, they want to cut property taxes. So they're kind of all over the place up there. We're hoping with these special sessions, they can just concentrate on these issues and come together with something that's reasonable and something that we can accomplish.
Well, and I know that you and the Dias and those in county government are constantly in contact with our state representative, Jim Mooney, and Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez. From what I understand, they are fully on board and fighting on our behalf. But they have one voice among many in Tallahassee, and it seems like that voice is having a little bit of time to come together as one. And there's a lot of competing, priorities there right now. Home rule continues to still be something that we're not finding easy as far as accomplishing home rule. DEI and the restrictions on events, et cetera. I guess you had mentioned it was House Bill 1134 that has caused some concern, to say the least, with some of our organizations in the Keys, because it could directly affect funding, maybe even with the TDC, but also affect some of the events that draw tourists to our community. And that's another instance whereby it looks like a fairly heavy hand from Tallahassee could come down and affect us here locally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the Senate Bill 1134.
Oh, thank you.
But you're welcome. But it prohibits governments from funding, carrying out, or promoting DEI initiatives with tax dollars, which the TDC funding is also tax dollars. A lot of people didn't understand that when we had issues in the past, but it is tax dollars and it belongs to citizens of Monroe County, and it comes under our purview as how it's eventually spent, the county commission. But that being said, the interpretation of these DEI initiatives is where it's difficult, because it's vague, and how do you exactly define that? And in one person's view, it is breaking the rules, and another it's not. So those are the kind of things we'll have to be dealing with. But the consequences are a commissioner could be fined or removed from office as the penalties. So they're coming now with a heavy hand on the penalties with with the definition of what you can and can't do is kind of vague. So we're working through that, trying to identify this and clarify some things as we move forward.
Seems like we're spending a lot of time, unfortunately, trying to comply with what the state now expects, rather than being able to focus solely on the business of the county. And it's an interesting time, most definitely. So that Senate bill, then, has that been signed into law as of yet? Still awaiting the governor?
No, it hasn't gone to the governor yet, but it's passed.
Okay.
It's moved forward.
And he has come out.
And I
in
just
favor.
want to say, if I could, one thing you touched on, and we're very fortunate to have Senator Anna Maria Rodriguez and Representative Mooney fighting for us there, up there. They take their position very serious and are definitely fight for the citizens of Monroe County. And we're very thankful to have them in office.
Yes, they do hear our voice and they take it seriously. And I know the constant communication between the county and our state representative and senator is a very healthy dialogue. And we want to thank them for their dedication to our concerns as well. Area of critical concern. Speaking of concerns, though, some good news regarding the Florida Forever Conservation funding and the ability for land acquisition moving forward. You had mentioned earlier that that was potentially going to expire, but thanks to a lot of efforts, the Florida Forever Conservation funding will continue.
Yes, and we're very fortunate. Of course, it was sponsored by our representatives, and it passed 109-0 in the House and 38-0 in the Senate. So it's 100%, which we're very fortunate. And it's dedicated Florida Forever Conservation Funding for land acquisition in the Keys. And these is also some affordable housing development costs for Habitat for Humanity. That was part of it, which was very good for those to keep the costs down, and it's very important for ownership of young people with their new home and affordable housing. And also they tacked on right there at the end, Apalachicola National Estuary Reserve. They extended the distance of buffer zone for no oil drilling from 10 to 30 miles. So help protect that national reserve there. So it's a lot of good things coming out. Don't get me wrong. The Tallahassee is not doing good stuff, but the uncertainty is what the difficulty on municipalities and counties as we try to move forward.
Yes, it does make it difficult to plan and to move forward with some of the uncertainty, as you said, Commissioner, and subjectivity, but there are positives as well. I also did want to make mention that Monroe County is hosting virtual public meetings, providing residents with updates on the county's canal restoration program. 2 of those meetings happen today at noon, and then again at 5:30. They can be attended on Zoom, and during the meetings, the staff provides a history of canal development in the Florida Keys. But for more information, you can go to monroecounty-fl.gov/canals to find out more about those virtual public meetings happening today.
Good. I'm glad and thank you for getting that information out.
Absolutely, sir. Well, I know you've got a busy day to get to. Is there anything else we should mention at this time?
No, just want to thank you for your station and all you do to keep the citizens updated and everyone you have on there. Yes, and it's very important that our citizens are aware and what's going on, and so they can be involved and also move their county and cities forward positively.
Well, thank you. And you have done that for so many years as a dedicated public steward. We appreciate all that you have done and continue to do to, I'm going to actually, there we go. Somebody was trying to call in. But thank you for all that you have done sincerely, Commissioner. We appreciate your dedication and unselfish service to our community and your leadership, of course, as well. We will let you go at that. We look forward to seeing you again soon, and thank you for taking the time to inform. You do the same. Thank you. It is Commissioner Craig Cates, Mayor Emeritus of the City of Key West, former mayor as well. And all-around great guy. We appreciate him being here. Craig Cates, thank you. It is Keys Talk, 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey Key West, Danny Hughes here from Two Friends. Really from Two Friends. So Maura and I were sitting at breakfast in the bar listening to live music at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. She's about to enjoy some huevos rancheros and me shrimp and grits with fried oysters. Heart healthy. And Maura says, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. It was perfect because we didn't move here because Key West is like a lot of other places. We moved here because it isn't like any other place on earth. So meet your friends or make your friends at Two Friends. 512 Front Street in Old Town, Key West, or twofriends.com.
Keys Auto Center, the Keys hometown dealership.
Hey folks, Stephen Bender at Key West Cadillac. Experience the precision and presence of the new Cadillac lineup, from the iconic Escalade to the refined XT5 and performance-driven CT5. And with our local deal match guarantee, you can move forward with confidence. So come see the people you know, like, and trust at Key West Cadillac on the Boulevard, or visit keywestcadillac.com. We've got the keys.
Everything you need is here at Keys Auto Center.
Step back in time. Step back into Old Town. Step into Old Town Bakery with fresh baked treats like pastries, cookies, brownies, and fresh breads made every morning. Enjoy hot and cold, delicious ground coffee, always brewing, and handcrafted breakfast and lunch sandwiches made to order on oven fresh breads. And now, Old Town Bakery features spinach mushroom feta quiche and ham and cheese quiche, delectable for breakfast or lunch by the slice. Get a whole quiche pie by ordering in store with 24 hours advance notice. Enjoy new cream-filled croissants with chocolate or vanilla filling and award-winning fresh baked pies, including their key lime pie, voted the best in the Keys. Pick up their unique Old Town Bakery t-shirts for a friend or yourself and give the gift of deliciousness with a gift card available for purchase in store. And their catering menu is available to make that next event memorable. Old Town Bakery on the corner of Eaton and Grinnell. Stop in or order online. Old Town Bakery, KeyWest.com.
This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
Good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. And we are Thursday, the 19th of March already. And some cool temperatures. We've been talking about that. They will continue. A little bit of rain here and there as well, which is sorely needed. And actually, we're going to bring in an expert on that. Dr. Steve Davis is with us, and he's with the Everglades Foundation. Good morning, Dr. Davis. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So let's talk about, of course, the Everglades Foundation. We talk about the foundation actively here on an ongoing basis, and you are the chief science officer. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, we wanted to touch on the Everglades, Florida Bay, the recent fires on Big Cypress, and the impact on the lack of rain, both nature and our communities. And we really did. It's, people forget, they have a short memory, given the fact we've gotten significant rainfall over the past week or so. But prior to that, we really had drought conditions, and probably that still exists.
It does. Actually, the latest drought classification came out this morning, and we are still in an extreme drought. So it's not just a single, couple days of rain event that will, alleviate these problems. And it really speaks to how drought develops over time. So this is not something that just happened this dry season. It's something that accumulates, or a rainfall deficit that accumulates over longer periods of time. And in fact, if you go back to this week last year, South Florida was in a severe drought. So because we didn't get a banner wet season, we're still in that deficit over that period of time. And the Everglades ecosystem, and certainly Florida Bay, expresses the outcome of that.
Well, and I saw the article here, in a land of water, we're running on empty. That is something that people are unaware of. They think of all the water surrounding Florida and the Everglades and the like. But there is, as you mentioned, there's a drought, and running on empty really is not an overstatement.
That's correct. And it's we're blessed in average years with 4 to 5 feet of rainfall. We know that much of that comes during our wet season. About 75% of that comes during our wet season. So if we have, a below average dry season and a below average rainy season, it puts us in the situation where we are because it's warm. We have a lot of sunny days, and you think of sort of our water budget in South Florida like a bank account. You know, we've got water coming into the account from rainfall, but we have a lot of water going back out, paying bills to the atmosphere as that water evaporates. And so when we don't have rainfall, that usually means we have a lot of cloud-free days, and so that water then evaporates back out and puts us in this deficit situation.
So Dr. Steve Davis is with us, Chief Science Officer for the Everglades Foundation. You can find out more about what we're talking about, the evergladesfoundation.org online. So the Everglades essentially serve as kind of a storage facility and it's supposed to be filled up during the wet season to be utilized during the dry season. But as you've mentioned, that hasn't necessarily happened, but also the overall health of the Everglades affects its ability to store that water that's needed.
Absolutely. And think of the Everglades as this massive water management system for South Florida. It receives that rainfall. It helps us to convey that not only south into Florida Bay, the estuary of the Everglades, but also it flows downward into the aquifer, which provides us our water supplies. So having water is essential to continue to drive that. And because the Everglades is disconnected from Lake Okeechobee, we don't have that subsidy of water from the north, which was a historic part of the watershed. And so that's why really Everglades restoration is so essential, because restoration provides us the capacity to build storage that allows us to reconnect Lake Okeechobee back to the south. That's the key to restoration, not only of the Everglades, but also to Florida Bay, that is the final recipient of that fresh water.
And Florida Bay needs to be healthy as well. Sometimes it's called hypersalinity as well, can affect the water supply, even if we have the water.
Exactly. And Florida Bay is this incredible, shallow, seagrass-dominated estuary. Guides and clients take advantage of that on a daily basis. But when we don't have rainfall, that means we're getting a lot of evaporation off the bay when no fresh water is coming in from the Everglades, and there's not a lot of tidal exchange throughout the bay. And so that leads to the accumulation of salt, ultimately to hypersalinity, which can become detrimental to the health of the habitats and to the recreational fish that are very desirable and help to drive the economy of the Florida Keys. So it really is a troubling situation when we don't have sufficient rainfall. But again, going back to restoration, that's what builds the capacity to store water when we do have it. And then we can draw from that storage when it's needed most during these periods of drought.
Yeah. And again, it affects our water supply that we rely upon here in the Florida Keys, because that ultimately comes from the aquifers up on the mainland, and it's all affected by how the health of the Everglades is faring as well. And fires, of course. If it's dry and there's a drought, then there's a high risk of fires. We've seen them along the 18-mile stretch between the mainland and the Keys. We've seen them now also in Big Cypress. What's the impact there? And I assume there's a direct correlation, obviously, between the drought and the likelihood of these types of fires.
Absolutely. Fire is a natural part of the Everglades ecosystem, whether Big Cypress, the River of Grass. These are systems that naturally burn, and it's largely because we have natural sources of ignition, lightning. When we have cold fronts pass through, when we get into the wet season where there's a lot of convection and lightning strikes from that, the vegetation will naturally burn. But when we experience severe drought, and in this year, extreme drought, these are different classifications. That means not only is the vegetation prone to burning, but in many cases, the understory and in some areas, the soils themselves will be vulnerable to burning. And those are the really devastating fires that we see during drought years. That's what we've been seeing across the Western Everglades this year. And they're obviously very difficult to contain when there's not sufficient water supplies and wet landscapes around. So these are the years where we really experience the severe fires on the order of tens of thousands of acres. Let's just hope that we get more rain for the balance of this dry season. And then let's hope also that our wet season has an average start time, which is usually around mid-May.
And would one season of regularity as far as rainfall goes correct what has happened with the current drought conditions?
Well, an average rainfall year would take us longer to get out of a drought state. And again, there are classifications of that. But ideally, we would like to see a wet start to the beginning of the wet season. The more rainfall we can get over the next 6 to 8 months will really help to get us out of this drought condition. And again, this goes back to early 2025. We were in a severe drought condition across South Florida, and we're still trying to work our way out of that.
Yeah, and I did see too from some of the articles that ironically, drought can lead to fire and loss of soils, which could then increase the risk of flooding as well. So drought can then lead to flooding. So there's a lot of
and loss of
moving
habitat.
parts and loss of habitat. Absolutely. Well, again, Dr. Steve Davis, he's Chief Science Officer, Everglades Foundation. Find out more at the evergladesfoundation.org. What is the Everglades Foundation's role in all of this? Obviously, it's education and research, but also promoting the health of the Everglades. That's all tied into what we're talking about.
That's right. Our mission is restoration and protection of the Everglades. We are really the science-based voice for this ecosystem, and we work with a variety of groups. We have an education program, K through 12. We also work with groups in the Keys, the fishing guides. We regularly communicate with on the health of the ecosystem and the importance of these restoration projects in protecting places like Florida Bay.
Well, I feel more informed following our discussion, but is there anything else that we should mention at this point, Dr. Davis?
Just we know that Everglades restoration is working, and that, over the past 17 years that I've been with this organization, I've seen us advance these projects to the point where we are beginning to see benefits on the ground, both environmentally and in terms of just protecting our water. But we also know through economic study that these projects are worth it. Everglades restoration, it pays a 4-to-1 return on investment, and it protects $1 trillion asset to the state of Florida.
I was going to make that statement once again, which is one of the major headlines. The Everglades is our $1 trillion asset here in Florida, and protecting it, understanding it, advocating for it is part of what the Everglades Foundation does. So go to evergladesfoundation.org to learn more. Dr. Davis, thank you so much for being here this morning and for the information you provided. We will talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Dr. Steve Davis, Chief Science Officer for the Everglades Foundation. Again, evergladesfoundation.org to learn more and get involved. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. We're checking in with Glenn Beck here momentarily, always bringing you also breaking news as soon as it happens. And there's plenty of developing news all day and all night. We'll keep you on top of all of that here on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Also, local, state, national news is updated at least every half hour. Weather forecasts around the clock as well, and those are also ever-changing, as we've just heard. So we'll keep you completely informed and engaged and entertained, we hope. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Thank you so much for listening.